Here we are in Occidental Square, in the center of Pioneer Square, which is Seattle's historical district and the location of the Occidental Fine Arts Center, home of the Seattle Prize. Come on in, let's take a look. All right, when people first walk in, they get to see our core values of beauty, truth, and love. These are the values that we want to keep in mind when we create anything here in this building. All right, I want to give you a tour of the Occidental Fine Arts Center and introduce you to some of the wonderful young artists who are here working today. We're about 3 months into the year-long program, so most of the artists have worked on one piece or so, and they're getting to a point where I'd love to show it to you. Our first artist, this is Emma, and she's lucky to have one of the most beautifully lit studios here, and she's working, I'll jump around here, and she's working on a piece here based on the ballet Giselle and some of the unintended consequences that come from falling in love with the wrong person. So the next artist over here, this is Nick. Now Nick comes from Kentucky. No, Nick actually comes from Texas. And he's working on a beautiful painting here about a man who's toward the end of his life and thinking deeply about the decisions and things about his life. The next artist, this is Jackson. Jackson comes from Michigan and is working on an allegory of curiosity. Kind of manifests itself by 4 beautiful little mermaids who have discovered a high heel shoe and figuring out, what is this? Now, one of the cool things of running this program is I can have a little studio here myself where I'm working on a couple paintings. This one here is based off of the distracted man meme, in which I'm trying to show that people, especially young people, are starting to turn away from this modern and postmodern art and trying to embrace classicals and beautiful art that hasn't been seen for hundreds of years. Now, Diego, originally from central Mexico, he's finished up with his first painting here, and this is a painting of a man and the things he loves. All on one boat, and he's cleaning up, and he's pruning a little bit of flowers and that. And so we're really excited that he finished this one up, and he's working on something more creative as well, Diego. The next artist is one of our lead fellows here, because he's also the facilitator. He's been here in Seattle for almost 20 years, teaching people how to paint traditionally, and we're so excited for him on this piece. This one here is about rebirth and about change. And he's in the middle of the process, and you can see kind of the process of how a monumental work like this is done. So, as you can see, this is a big, beautiful space, and we try to make it so that with these beautiful lights and kind of the vibe is that we want people to kind of go back in time and kind of relive what traditional art and its creation was in the past. Now, this is more than just a handful of artists working alone in their studio. This is a collaborative effort. This is our kind of meeting room where we sit around and we talk about ideas and we try to push each other to create even more meaningful works. Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do here, is create beautiful, meaningful works that we're going to give to the public to help uplift and address some of the challenges of the modern life. Now, this space is one of our biggest open spaces, and we use this for our live models. We put them in here. We can either photograph them for works that we're working on, or we want to just relax. We surround the model with all of our artists, and we try our best to render them in kind of the traditional ways. Now, we have a couple more artists down this way, Daniel, and show you his work. Now, he's using a very classical technique here of portraying a man burdened down by things that he's collected over his years. And possibly it's an idea of maybe it's time to let go. Now, our last artist that we're going to show in this tour is Augustina. Now, Augustina comes all the way from Argentina, and she's working on a painting what happens when the artist gets inspired by his muse. Now, this artist happens to be lucky enough to have her husband, Elijah, here, who's a sculptor, and this is one of the things we love here, is that we want to embrace all types of art, and this is a great example of the merging between classical sculpting as well as painting. Augustina. Now, I hope that gives you a little bit overview of what we're doing here at the Occidental Fine Art Center, home of the Seattle Prize, and we're so excited for you to be part of this and follow us in the future. Love you guys.